One more second. Thought I was ready. Come on.
Okay, it looks like you're on.
Oh, I am on. Great. I can't
Yep,
even
you're
find my
on.
ring central. Here we go. Where? Okay, there we go. I gotta make a dedicated computer to do this instead of putting on my main computer all the time.
Probably not a bad idea.
Yeah, it's just more inconvenient. Hey, Fly.
If I,
I need to add you on one of these.
Ebon.
Hello. I thought I created something like this before. So many DM groups.
Hey, Christian. Hey, Electro.
So after this, after our session, we'll go anything goes, and Dave is gonna host on his channel for that. That'll be his first official hosting. I need to add you in Fly to hosting stuff. But someone else created. The one thing I hate about Twitter is when someone else creates a DM chat, you can't add anyone else. It's like you keep creating so many DM groups.
yeah, you just can't add people. That's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, I did that one earlier, and it's kind of like oh, hey, everybody see this. Bram, I forgot you. There was a thing on the NC lawsuit. The appeal's been filed.
Okay.
Right, I saw that.
I think it was a little too fast. I think they should have taken at least a couple more days. I mean, I know how to, how complicated just my own stuff filing that can be. I mean, that has to be a giant thing, giant undertaking. So
well, I think
20 foot.
I think they probably knew that it was going to be struck down. They're prepared.
Okay. And not to mention the judge outlined everything that they needed to do. He was very meticulous in his dismissal of the case. Well, not really dismissal, but kind of putting the case on hold.
That's kind of like the labor rep who we deal with management is like, you don't have it, but this is what you need and this is what you should do. Yeah.
Right.
So basically he's like, look, I can't do this for you, but you're on the right track and I got you.
Yeah, the judge.
Yeah. They had, I mean, from reading it, it seemed to me like they had a really good case. It was just a tweak of the jurisdictional stuff, and that was all it was. And so, I mean, I dare say that they already had sort of an answer written up in 24 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, they have all that in their head so much they probably already had it written up.
I was hoping that that's what it was. That wasn't they were trying to rush it. Is that they already had it? They had it down already anyway.
Well, Nico House has been really good at explaining exactly what's been going on with the case. It's good to have somebody like him who's been following it so closely.
I saw Elizabeth Beck's her recap of it. I love her. I think she's a little too close, way too close to it when somebody tries to, kind of take a jab at it.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
What I love about her and Jared is they reach out to anybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you don't see that very much. And politics aside, they just want it out there. And I don't know that it's hard. I mean, there's so many divisions and subdivisions within any group, and you're either in or you're not, and if you're not in, you don't get any awareness at all. So
Right.
I'm part of the out, just so you know. And
I'm on the way out. I mean,
yeah. And so we're always like, we're these little chirping birds. It's like, hey, look, we got something important. Hey, we should be doing this. Hey, whatever. And it's like, the big bird listening to little birds is like, squawk. And you're
well,
like,
I'm a big bird in a little cage. I mean, everybody has their niche. You know, in my office, I'm the guy to go to. But outside that little arena, yeah, I try to get in. There are a few people, but the one thing that I really love about Jared and Elizabeth is that they'll call people out on their bullshit, even on their own show. When they called out Jordan Sheridan, I was like, okay, these guys are for real.
Yeah, that's huge.
hey,
And that takes guts. They want exposure, and it shows that they know what they're doing and that they are confident in the evidence that they're presenting. So,
So as people trickle in, there's something I want to show people. I guess it kind of went viral. I don't know. I guess it didn't go viral. It just...
Angry Tom Brady?
No, not Angry Tom Brady. It's Jagmeet Singh. If you've ever heard of him, he's running in Canada.
Okay.
Okay. What's funny is, okay, so it was on my Facebook feed, and usually I just do Facebook just to whenever someone there's like a message or something. And this video was playing at someone who's very much a Hillary supporter. I guess she liked Bernie, right? But she was gonna vote Hillary no matter what. And I'm like, it's weird because this video is like, he's the Bernie of Canada, and why she would post something like that. But I guess it's just a message. Who knows?
I mean, how far to the left is he? Because Canada's pretty progressive.
Well, I've only known about him because of the video.
Okay.
So I've been looking at. I only saw one video before I started this after hours,
right. And
so he seems pretty left. He seems pretty cool. I haven't, but that's only just watching like a 1 minute video of an interview, right? That's outside the video I'm about to show. All right, so I'll go ahead and show it. I'm switching feeds just because anytime I try to share screen, it just messes up OBS. Okay. So look on your YouTube stream, but mute yourself on this. Actually, I'll mute everyone right now, and then we'll switch back. Give me a second. All right, muting all.
Wow, this is amazing. First of all, first question, is my voice carrying better this way, or is the mic better?
Carries great.
What do you like better?
Hi, my name's Jennifer. As there's a process, there isn't one, so I thought I'd start off.
Hold on, give me 1 second.
My name's Jennifer. I'm a women's advocate. And
One second.
Can
Can you hear this way?
We know you're in bed with Sharia. We know you're in bed with the Muslim Brotherhood. We know by your vote.
Is this easier with the microphone, or is it better?
Don't touch me.
Microphone?
Don't anybody touch me, or I will contact the police immediately. I would like to know, call the police.
So just 1 second. Let's just, what do we believe in? We believe in love and courage, right? Love and courage. Love and courage. We believe in love. We believe in love and courage. Absolutely. Absolutely we do. We believe in love and courage. We believe in an inclusive Canada where no one's left behind. We believe in building a Canada that ensures that there's economic justice for everybody, right? And that's what we believe in. So my friend, yeah, that's it. And you are wonderful. And let's just say, as Canadians, do we believe in celebrating all diversity? Do we believe in celebrating diversity? Give it a round of applause for side diversity. A round of applause for diversity. All right. It's okay. Yeah.
Back up, lady. Back up.
So,
when is your Sharia going to end?
It's
we know you're about the
so.
We can tell by your votes. We all know.
That's it. It's okay. So, what this is, we don't want to be intimidated by hate. We don't want hatred to ruin a positive event, right? We don't want hatred to ruin a positive event. So let's show people how we would treat someone with love. We welcome you. We welcome you. We welcome you. We love you. We support you and we love you. We support you, we love you. We all here, everyone in this room loves you. We all support you. We believe in your rights. We all believe in your rights. This room is a room filled of people that are loving and that will support you, but this isn't the best way to do it, but it's okay. We're going to talk some more. So my friends, let's just say this is a little bit awkward, but it's okay. We're not intimidated by hatefulness. We're not intimidated. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. We're not worried about this. This is okay. We're not worried about this. It's okay. We're not worried about this. We're okay. Wait. So let her just speak as much as she wants. It's okay. We have no problem with it.
She might follow you out.
My friends, we'll just sort this situation out. We'll be right back. I love you all. These are things that happen. It's okay. It's no big deal. We're not going to be intimidated. It's all good. Okay, maybe it is solved with already. All right. So listen, this is so incredible. This incredible amount of love. Okay, we're good. It's okay. Listen, you know, growing up as a brown-skinned, turban-bearded man that I faced things like this before. It's not a problem. We can deal with it. There's going to be other obstacles we're going to face, and we're going to face them with what? With love and courage. We can overcome anything. We're not worried about this.
Okay. Oops, unmute all. There we go. So what did you guys think? So people didn't know that that guy who's speaking, Jagmeet Singh, he's a Sikh. He's not a Muslim. So he has nothing to do with Sharia law. I'm pretty sure he doesn't support Sharia law.
Video, huh?
Oh, a link to the video?
No. I've seen the video.
Oh, you have?
It's really heartwarming.
Go ahead.
Well, as heartwarming as you can get with politicians.
Sorry, I missed that. Aeolus, could you say that again?
No, I thought the video was rather heartwarming. Well, you know, as heartwarming as you can be when dealing with politicians.
Yeah. So,
no, but it came across as genuine. Like a genuine extension of good faith.
Right.
Did
More
you...
than you can...
Sorry, I was gonna say, did you look into him, Aeolus? Do you know anything about him? I didn't really. Go ahead.
I've been busy with the homework for most of the day, so I hadn't had a chance. I just managed to catch it on passing. But if the video is legitimate, then all I can say is all props to the guy. You know, really, when you're dealing with people that are that hostile to people who look like you, to the point where it exceeds the reasonable discourse. I mean, that's probably the best reaction you can have in the face of it, especially if you're a politician.
Yeah. I could feel the politicians in the U.S. They would just got in the guards and carried her out, you know, with her feet dangling in the air. That's America.
Yeah, but
or Trump would have had his supporters beat her up.
Right. Yeah. Or they wouldn't have waited.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I heard that's why things are so weird. The Trump supporter that beat up someone that was protesting, was that really a Trump supporter? Or was that like a plant, I guess?
Oh no, dude broke a guy's jaw.
Yeah,
he was the cops had him. He was walking out peacefully. A dude took a sucker shot, broke his fucking jaw.
Okay.
No, he deserved everything he got. And then afterwards, you know, he mouthed off some more about how, you know, this at least we should give him, you know, or some other bullshit.
Right. No, not that saying that I can think a Trump supporter would do that. Oh, come on, Dave. Mute the YouTube stream. Something just happened then. Okay. So, like Hillary could have planted, you know, the whole setup. I mean, I wouldn't put it past her.
No, I wouldn't either. I wouldn't. That's a good point. I wouldn't.
I'm sorry. That was, I mean, they might have done something before a cop was there, but they wouldn't do something right in front of a cop. I mean, that's sort of.
Well, that's the whole point. If it's a setup.
But no, you don't. No, the cops ain't in on it. You know.
No, I know that.
Ain't in on it, and they arrest you like you really assaulted somebody.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, and the fact that he broke the guy's jaw, that sort of both. No, I mean, you know, these.
And this was several. This was several that you know, this kind of stuff happened.
Yeah. I mean, this wasn't like, you know.
I wouldn't doubt that a few of them were plants, but I don't think all of them were.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, there were plans for Bernie's rallies.
Yeah, we know that for a fact. There were definitely plans at Bernie. We know that for a fact.
By the way, Bram, your video feed is choppy in your.
I don't know what I've been having some issues with my internet lately. I don't know what the problem is.
Okay. Anyways, I'll probably look more into this Jagmeet Singh guy, see what he's like. Yeah. Hey, maybe we'll have him on. But yeah, it's I don't know. I feel like I don't think we. Hey, for a second. I feel like he's someone that's possible to get elected in Canada, but he'd never get elected in the U.S.
No, there's no way, no. Too many people would think he was Muslim.
Yeah. Oh, shoot.
I can see him being an alderman in Chicago. I mean, I'm not joking. I can see him doing that.
I mean,
And a local guy. I can see it.
but I mean, if you're gonna hate on somebody, I mean, shouldn't you know at least enough about him to know that he isn't Muslim?
No, because
I mean, you know, I understand the whole, you know, wearing something over his head thing, but still, I mean, at this point in racial stupidity, we've been through it enough times where we've shot up Sikh places, temples, and seen that it happens, and they have to tell them every time, Sikhs aren't Muslims. Like, you know, Muslims are okay targets or something, but you know what I mean. You know,
there's no intelligence behind it. You know that.
well, when I heard the Sharia law shit, that's the one that always sets me off. You know,
Yeah.
hey, I got more of a worry of these son of bitches giving me biblical law than I do of Sharia law. So, you know, and I'll fight either one. But Sharia is so far fucking from being implemented. And if you're talking about like people having private loans and them having a Sharia court to sit over like a loan problem or things like that, that is the freedom of their faith.
Yeah.
And you know, and it seems to me that, you know, for a lot of things like that, they do a pretty good job of not dragging it into the civil courts and making more costs, you know.
So
but I'm still waiting for the inklings of Sharia so that I can fight that too, just to make all these guys feel good.
So Shirley just said that Hurricane Irma turned into a Cat 5.
Again?
Yeah. Well, when I watched the news, I heard that it would, you know, go up and down from Cat 4 to Cat 5, and
right.
Just because there's just so much warm tropical water heading towards the peninsula, so.
Yeah, that's what CNN showing.
Well, rip Florida.
And it looks like Shirley's saying it just hit Cuba. Oh man, that's got to be horrible.
Yeah.
Now,
Cuba's about to have a very rough time in the face of like 2-3 category hurricanes coming in within the span of a month.
Yeah. And it's gonna keep happening too, because the water is just gonna keep getting a little bit warmer because of global warming. Man-made global warming. I'm sorry. Wait. Blasphemy, huh? Damn it.
Oh, all right, Claudia.
It's very funny. You go to capitalist gulag now. Sour about that capitalist gulag.
My question.
I'll tell you what, if that travels up the middle of that state, it is going to flood that entire state.
Yeah.
It isn't going to be a dry stretch anywhere in Florida.
Yeah.
Now, the hurricanes that are right behind each other, do the hurricane forces in front of the hurricanes behind it, does that have any effect on the, you know, increasing or decreasing the intensity? Or I honestly don't know.
All I can say for certain is that it's going to fuck up the state emergency responses for the better part of a month. It's basically anyone who's trapped there is literally going to be trapped there. There's no fucking escape. You know, at least with the last one before, I can't even remember its fucking name now because there are 3 others on the way.
Right. It's Irma, Jose, and Juan, I think, or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, Juan. Okay. No, Jose. No, it's Irma.
Irma, Jose. I can't.
You want to know the name of the H one, and I can't think of it either. Off the top, they hit Houston. The one that hit Houston.
Harvey.
Miami. I don't know.
Harvey. Thank you.
Harvey.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's just. Oh Jesus, Harvey! Yeah, Harvey fucked up Texas beyond recognition. And you know that was what, a Category 3.
Oh, that was a 4, I thought.
That was a 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they got fucked up hard. And now I'm worried about my uncle right now because he, one of my eldest uncle right now, because he lives in Florida. And he's decided that in his infinite wisdom, he was going to wait till Saturday to decide whether or not he was going to move out to evacuate then.
No, you need to get out now.
No, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, that's a terrible life choice. Like, of all the terrible life choices you have made, sir, aside from voting for Trump, this is by far the biggest one.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question. I know, listen, this was decades ago, but with Hurricane Andrew, I remember the nightmare with these scumbag homeowners insurance companies, and they basically fleeced everybody. Is there any, how did laws change to protect homeowners, and is it really going to change, are people going to be protected better?
Who knows?
Well, it's Florida. I have my doubts that they changed for the better.
I kind of doubt it. It's Rick Scott's state. I really doubt it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And before that, it was Jeb Bush's state. I don't see either one of them bastards going out of their way to affect insurance companies.
Yeah.
But they will do photo ops with Obama. Obama in the name of charity.
Well, good news. I mean, it's going to slow down people getting kicked out of the country. I mean, how the hell is Bush going to try to, kick people out? I would think it would. I think it would slow down DACA, scumbag.
Well, that's simple. You get the fucking Coast Guard. Have them patrol the flooded waters. Drag them out on a life raft.
Well, I'm up in the Pacific.
Anything to say, but to be honest, it's something I would totally expect Trump to do, and that depresses me.
Yeah.
Well, here up in the Pacific Northwest, we have 2.5 states worth of fire going on. So that's lovely too. Just because it isn't on the news, I'm just telling you, Oregon and Washington are both hitting hard this fire season.
Now I saw a photo that went viral of this just massive blaze and right behind a golf course, and these guys just golfing as the entire forest is in flames. I thought it was pretty pathetic, actually, about how people deal with,
that one.
Yeah, that was it.
Yep. That's it. Yeah. That's just nuts.
Yeah, I mean, and our air quality here, it's just for shit. I've been downstairs in the basement with the air conditioner on all the time because I go outside just for a few minutes to do just a touch of gardening I got to do, and it's like, holy fuck, And I mean, I was like, I guess, anyhow.
You don't have COPD issues, so you don't have asthma.
Well, yeah, I got like asthma problems, but I've also got the other thing that's been happening. So it's like double whammy when I go outside. It's like I'm one of those people that they tell you about that you're supposed to be inside and stuff. I didn't realize I'd ever become one, but I am one.
And here's to a point of what Dr. Shiva was saying yesterday about how everybody wants clean water and clean air. Bullshit. Because if they did, we'd have it.
Right.
Everybody doesn't want that. And I can't believe there's still people that try to float that shit. Because if everybody wanted it, we'd have it. The reason why we don't have it is because these goddamn corporations don't give a shit. They don't give a shit about what damage they do to the environment as long as they make their buck. They don't care.
I wasn't watching that video, but it would have been very hard for you not to mute me, Ebon, because I would have been laughing. You're telling me Rick Snyder and freaking Joe Manchin want clean water?
Yeah, right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Give me a second.
Right. They would have it.
917. Hello?
Oh, hi, Yvonne. It's Amy.
Oh, hey, Amy.
Hey.
All right.
Joe Manchin doesn't know what a stream is. How does he know what water is?
917. Hello?
Oh, hi, Yvonne. It's Amy.
Oh, hey, Amy.
Mute your YouTube
Joe
streaming.
Manchin doesn't know what a stream is. How does he know what water is?
917.
Turn your radio down, Amy.
Yeah, I wanted to be there last night for that town hall, and I was so tired I went to sleep.
What happens?
Turn your radio down, Amy.
What?
All right, Amy, I muted you. Actually, someone's speaker is close to their mic. We're getting some feedback. All right, I muted you.
Not me.
Not me. I checked mine.
Mistaken, maybe.
I think that was Aeolus.
No, it can't be right. Because my speakers and microphone are in the same unit, but
Okay.
it's supposed to be isolated. It should be sufficiently isolated that shouldn't be the problem.
The sound is gone now, so we're good. That was weird. And Amy,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I missed it too. I was like 5:15. I was lying back thinking, okay, it's gonna be pretty soon, and I fell asleep. I woke up just enough to see a little bit of him talking about single payer health care in some way, and I got to see the everybody decked out in their finest too. So it's just as well I didn't have it up in me to be dressing up last night anyhow to keep up with you guys.
yeah. So I was restreaming like the weather channel on my channel, just in case people wanted to see the news, because people who want to keep up, especially in Florida and the situation, they can't sit and watch cable TV. So
Yeah.
but they
Right.
can stream YouTube, right? So I figured I'd be doing that. Hey, Fly. And Snork was mentioning that the private industries down in Florida and South are probably getting all their hazardous material out, so when the hurricane strikes, they don't have to deal with the hazardous waste, and do them a favor.
Washed away. Yeah. The same thing happened in Texas.
That sucks.
Yep. Poisoned all the waterways there in Texas. So all around you had plenty of water, but none to drink.
Every time you have a good snow or a good rain, you're gonna have extra runoff because they open up the valves and they run some out. You know, it may not seem like much at the time, but when you add it up over the years and over the number of refineries these outfits own, and it's a gargantuan amount of money that they're just, you know.
Yeah. Isn't there a way we could sue them? I mean, that just doesn't seem.
No, because here's the problem. This is something that's been going on in this country for quite a while. It has become increasingly more difficult to press class action lawsuits, and it's really a shame, because that was really our main way of pushing back against these corporations when they basically disenfranchised or harmed large groups of people. And our legal system is really out of control.
And the EPA used to have a little bit better system. Like when they finally caught the outfit that I did work in, they actually, to get them, they have to be able to test like after it at the little stream had gone through the refinery into the Delaware. They noticed they were getting really high readings after rain. They tested the stream before it went into the refinery and after, and were able to catch them. You know, so I mean, it's all a matter of how they you know, who does it. But you know, there was a time when the EPA actually went after them.
Yeah, but look at the dipshit Trump put in charge of the EPA. I mean, that guy's not going to do anything. He doesn't do shit. He's another.
And by now, Bram, they've declawed it to such an extent that even if they had somebody that was Elliot Ness in there, it wouldn't matter because
not much of a difference. Yep.
There's no power, and he has like 3 people to go investigate all this stuff. You know, it's just like OSHA and all the rest of it.
Yep.
That's so true. I did take an environmental law class, and I didn't do well because I didn't understand what was going on. And what was going on was basically litigation that took so long that they could afford all these high-priced attorneys for all these years, and doing the right thing was more expensive than paying to prolong doing the right thing.
Well, I have a question.
I think a lot of stuff works that way, but
my question is, let's just say it's an alternate universe, and in a couple of years, a real progressive gets in, a Green Party person, who's everybody waving to? A Green Party person, oh, hey, Snort, a Green Party person gets in as president, and, you know, everything changes as quickly as possible. How long would it take to reverse the effects of the past 8-12 years of environmental crud?
You probably. Well, first of all, you can't turn back time. I'm not a scientist, but I can't imagine you can turn back time on that. But
no,
the fact that even under Obama, before Scott Pruitt was put into this position, for Dakota Access Pipeline, they weren't even doing the very basic, like, water regulation, Clean Air Act type of environmental impact statements that they were supposed to be doing. And they haven't been doing this since the shit was started with Nixon. They've been decreasing it and not doing the proper thing. So they didn't do their job under Obama.
Right. Absolutely, I agree. That's why I said of the past 12 years. Yeah.
I'm not a scientist, so I can't tell you what that's does to the environment.
I'm just talking about the regulations part. I'm not even talking about.
Yeah, it's been since
they're
Reagan.
not following them, and nobody does. Nobody does anything about it. That's the problem.
Reagan put such a luminaries as James Watt is the Secretary of the Interior.
I hated that.
He had some other real doozies. I can't remember who he had in the EPA, but you know, Reagan's the one that started really taking apart.
Probably my environmental law professor.
Taking apart what Nixon started. I mean, and Nixon actually, you know, was the one that got it all passed.
That guy was the 4 Jews, a black, a woman, and a cripple guy. The guy who was describing the cabinet or whatever. That was James Watt, and that's what killed his tenure in the cabinet, I think. He was a real winner.
But if you're not going to follow, that's the sad part. If you're not going to follow the simplest regulation, like an environmental impact statement, and have somebody do a study about what is going on, then what are you doing and why do you exist? That's kind of how I feel about the ethics committees in Congress. Like, what are they doing and why do they exist? Because Tom Price is still, making corrupt deals while proposing legislation. What are you doing? Not your job. And it's just, so you can have the EPA and you can have Trump take away all of these EPA regulations, and you can have Trump's terrible and Scott Pruitt's terrible, and all of that is true. All of that is true. But they weren't even following the law, and nobody holds them to it. They've become like the Supreme Court. Like the Supreme Court, you can't get thrown off the Supreme Court. So once when Anthony Weiner was having his first like Weiner sexting in New York, that was on the news every day. At the same time, Clarence Thomas didn't pay his taxes. Oh, well, the Supreme Court, yeah, we don't agree with that, and we'll self-regulate. And then it was gone in 24 hours. Yeah, that's a problem. That's a serious problem to me. But that's just me.
Hey,
anyway.
Oh, hey Eric, how's it going?
Hey, Eric.
Hey, Eric.
Hey, Eric.
Hey,
I hope
Eric.
your trigger's
Hey, Eric.
dry.
Oh,
Your poor room.
Hold your
looks so
trigger.
big.
Hold your trigger above your head.
How you
Hey,
doing, brother?
if you're able to get your audio working or video, you should let us know how things are down there, and like how the traffic was, people who are shopping, etc. Like what's it been like down there?
It looks like his internet is really kind of crappy down there.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine. And during the Harvey thing, I did hear a quote from, I think Donald Trump. It wasn't. I didn't hear him say that, but I heard it relayed that he told people in shelters.
It's been
to have
kind of
fun.
quiet.
Go ahead, Eric.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
That's right. Oh, while he's while he's getting situated, I guess we. Oh, okay, there we go. So the drive up to where you're at, was the traffic pretty bad? Eric, can you hear us?
Sorry about that.
All right. Well, while Eric's getting situated. Anyways, I mentioned this earlier, but I didn't say it out to the group yet. We're starting to get crowded as far as Ring Central. On some nights, we're hitting 20, and it's getting hard to have certain conversations. So we might be splitting up into groups. It's just growing pains. So we might get a second Ring Central account. So we might be splitting off. Like we'll start here, and then we'll do anything goes and after hours, and then if there's not going to be like an actual subject type of thing like after hours, then it could be to anything goes. So we might just split up. Another thing I was thinking of is having a new corporate entity, just kind of like I wanted to do with Tim Black. So the idea is to have whoever's the managers or presidents, whatever. They submit ideas, they submit budgets, etc. Whatever money is raised, totally transparent. So it'd be like basically the hosts that moderate and have to figure out how get meetings together with people who talk to each other. And it's whatever money's raised for donations, we only raise it for what we need. And then anyone who donates $1, it's just $1 a year, you get one vote. As many votes as you want in any type of budget or idea, you get the one vote to decide. So it's kind of basically the same premise as how our government should be run. We run it, and we run it better, right? So everyone gets a vote that's involved in it, and then people basically who do the day-to-day work to get things rolling, because a lot of us pretty much are working full-time, and we do this on our part-time. So but we don't want it to be turned into just one person runs everything and then all of a sudden become the next TYT. It should be run by, this is how public media should be run. people come up with ideas, who do a lot of the work, who do content management or the content, creating content or whatever, and it should be transparent. So all the money raised, all the money spent, it's displayed to the public, and the public also gets to decide whether that's the way they want the money to be spent. So, for example, if we raised $2,000 because some people donated more than $1 for what we needed for, like, say, a second Ring Central account, and there's something that's, say, people start wanting live coverage, like reports of what's going on in the ground. Like, say there's a rally, like, so say we wanted to film the People's Convergence conference, or not the People's Convergence, you know what I mean? Like, Kelly's down there. We can pitch in money for like a video camera, equipment, so they can film it, and then when the next person needs it, we use that money to ship it to someone else across the country so they can film something that's going on that side of the country. So basically, the equipment keeps going around, and we always know who we're sending it to. So if anyone just decides to take that equipment and run, right, we all know who that person is. And it's just kind of a free will, a rental thing. And I guess as a corporate entity, we can sue that person for stealing equipment. Also, we can also use money to start buying licenses for copyright material. So if we wanted to show something from streams, we won't get copyrighted. So we start becoming kind of a legal public nonprofit entity. So that's a thought. I want to know what people's opinions on that is.
I like it. I like it. Sounds good. Sounds good.
I don't know a lot about the copyright law thing. I actually don't know a lot. I mean, I know you're not allowed to take other, people's products and then just show them without other people agreeing. I don't know. In fact, I hate that. Like, once you do that, and I think there are certain stations that don't, they don't do that, and that's what's great about them. It's because the information is more important than, whether it's yours or mine or someone else's. And these days, with Twitter and with technology, I think there's more and more ideas of those out there. I mean, very little is proprietary, and basically, companies like Apple have done a number on, like, say, like patent infringement, sort of in the same lines of that, just trying to claim something that is like so their own, but it's not. I mean, a lot of things are very shared. And if you really care about a cause, I think it's more important that the idea is heard than the copyright thing. But yeah. I don't know what joining these, so I don't know how I would feel about that or exactly how it operates. But that's sort of my views.
So
non-legal on copyright and
yeah, we basically buy licenses to. So I would go to NBC Universal or something like that and say, hey, I would like to show. We're a media company. We would like to show some material and not get copyright strikes. And they go, okay, the basic fee is $500. And so we pay $500. We submit that to YouTube, wherever we show our content. And then that way, whatever algorithm is used, they see, okay, this has NBC material on it. But look, they've got a copyright license, so they can show it so we won't get a copyright strike. So that's basically how it goes.
You know what? Maybe a good system is like, if you're going to charge me, I'm going to charge you. Yeah. Like, if you're going to charge me, you're not a real media company.
All right. So, go ahead, Dr. Carpenter.
Yeah, man. I like the idea from a couple different aspects. I like the idea of us being able to pitch in towards this thing. I truly do like that, because I like sort of knowing I'm paying my own way on things like this. The other thing is I really like your idea about live events and things, you know, like big live events, like other things that are smaller. You know, one thing that gave me an idea just real quick is that, like, I have a Periscope account for things like that. If you took, you know, you're free to take my Periscope account anytime you want and use it. So, I mean, that would be a good way too, that we, at least for the time being, we could short term it, you know, a way to sort of get around it, you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I like it all.
All right. So a few things. First, number one, so if somebody takes the equipment, you get together a fund and everybody from Anything Goes shows up outside their door when they step out in the morning, right?
I think we can handle that. We have people all over the country. A for taken.
Well,
hey, but also, were you saying $1 one vote? So somebody contributes $10, they get 10 votes or whatever.
No.
Or
What?
No.
What? $1, you get a vote all the time, but you only get one vote for every idea or whatever. So you can't like vote 10 times for one idea or one budget. So it's just like the amount of money that you donate doesn't give you more votes. Everyone always gets one vote for each thing, but the minimum. But the minimum to go in and vote on something is $1 because you need to support it, of course.
Okay, because I was thinking then it sounds an awful lot like our government if it's, you know, the more dollars, the more votes, you know.
Nope, we don't operate that way.
And the Ring Central is definitely at least worth $1 per month from my perspective, and I would love to send it in somehow. I don't have PayPal or any sort of random stuff, so I'm not quite sure how to do that. But
don't worry about it. And so like so there's always stock issued. So what I'm thinking of using as a stock is using it as that goes into some type of trust later on. So if anything happens to the company for whatever reason, if the company is worth anything or whatever, like money that hasn't been spent, it just goes back out to everyone who donated. So,
okay, so if we're broke and we can't donate or something, can we still come on Anything Goes? We just don't get a vote.
Yes. This is Anything Goes, whatever is always going to be open. Now, see, there might be a catch because when we get too big, we might not be able to have, like, say 50 people want to come in every night. I'm not saying that it will, but if it happens, we might have to limit it. So we'd have to keep opening other Ring Central accounts. Some host moderators might want specific people, like a panel, so they might lock it down. But I want to make sure, at least with my Ring Central account, anyone's open to come in. And I think we're still going to operate that way. Anyone from the public can come in. They don't have to donate anything. That's why it's called donate. It's not, you're not purchasing anything to having the, you know, a right to come in or something. It's free. So
well, and can we like sponsor people if we want to?
I don't know what that means.
Well, if somebody doesn't have $1 to give in,
oh yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, just we can make sure that everybody.
I don't know. That sounds a little. I mean, I know where you're coming from. I know where you're coming. You're coming from a good place.
Like,
but on the overall, immediately, that's just like, no, because then we can buy votes. We can be George Soros, right? George Soros is always accused of just buying other people's votes or positions.
Well, there can be a limit of one person. Like you can do yourself and one other person.
Exactly.
There you go. Or make it friendly enough that you can do 3.
Yeah.
You know, so that
the slippery slope. Oh, and fat.
Well, the thing is,
I wish I was high. I live in New York. That's not cool.
Well, it's a similar concept, Broken, that I had about my, you know, if any of the platforms that I have, as far as like the RSS feed type of thing, is like it's $1 to use for a lifetime, and then if you don't want to pay that $1, you just wait in a pool waiting line, and then everyone pays an extra. You know, the pool opens, a spot in the pool opens up, and someone could get it registered for free.
Okay, so
far out, man. That's all I'm saying. It's just I want to make sure that you know, I mean that other people that nobody's put out by a price point, that we have a system, something in place. That's all.
Yep.
Okay, so this is just like $1, not like $1 for every show or anything like that, right? I guess.
Yeah, just $1 a year pretty much gets you into, like, you don't like all this. You get in for free no matter what. It's just the voting part is where you get, where if you donate $1, you get a vote on
about where the money would go to, sort of thing, right?
I guess
Yeah.
my broke self can afford.
Like a board.
Yes.
It's like a board for independent media.
Yeah. So say like and say you could.
It's less about profit and more about content.
Yes. Like say someone in our group proposes that with the extra money we get a third Ring Central account, but then someone else says, look, we don't really need a third Ring Central account because we don't have enough people viewing to use one. So let's instead use that money for paying for like a copyright license. And then, so basically we have options, and then we might have a vote on a poll. So everyone who donated says, okay, vote for which you want to spend the money, the extra money raised on. So you get a kind of a say in what direction the company or our group goes into. Go ahead.
I have a couple things. First, I gotta throw the postal thing in there. When you're talking about shipping equipment around, it can kind of get cost prohibitive after a while, and if you ship it enough times, there is that danger, even with insurance, of it getting damaged enough to where somebody can't shoot something.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something to consider.
Yeah.
The other thing is possibly getting a list. I wanted this anyway. Getting a list of conferences together for next year, so you can kind of schedule who needs what. One of my ideas too is, if this gets big enough, possibly renting out camera equipment, with the possibility, if someone's big enough, to purchase it and put that money back into after hours, so that they can use that money, and that person has permanent equipment that they can use.
Yeah.
I don't know if that'll work. I don't know if anybody's going to get big enough to be able to do that.
Well,
it's an idea. The other idea I have are the possibilities of seminars for the people who do YouTube channels, how to improve your YouTube channel. Or there are some seminars on, if you're going to buy the copyrighted material anyway, you don't really need this, but there are seminars on copyright and how to use material without getting copyright strikes, blah blah blah. I mean, with that don't have that copyright tag on it. It's something to consider.
Yeah, and like say someone mentions, hey, let's have like create our own conference. Say we raise like $20,000. It's like, hey, let's have a conference and try to fly as many people who can't afford it to the conference. I mean, I could pay myself. That's fine. Kelly, I'm sure, can pay herself. A couple of people might be able to, but like people who can't, we pitch in for the plane tickets, and we have our own little core group conference yearly, right?
Right.
My backyard. Yeah. I'm telling you, man, at the day of politics organizing, and like pseudo, we can always do our talent show then so that we don't get in trouble with the copyrights.
Hey, if you're making edibles,
and I also have all kinds of inspirational movies, so there's always that. Plus, I have brownies.
If you're making some edibles, I'm there.
With the especially with the larger conferences, or I mean, I know the Left Forum or the People's Forum or whatever. I don't know if you have to pay for media access, and I don't know how that works.
So you have to have a corporate entity to when you register. So, and then that way you are a legit media. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you can fake it. but like for like Tim Black doesn't have a corporate entity, but he used Breadpath Media, and that helped him get into the People's Summit. So basically you can get a press badge by having a corporate sponsorship. Sometimes that's the first thing that they ask you. Same thing with when I went to get Dr. Shiva. Right when I call in, they ask, what company are you from, or what's your company? And so I had to put in my company name, which is Liberty Strategic. So it helps to have a corporate name backing you, because otherwise you're just kind of
I'm just some guy calling, hey, I'm Dave. Yeah.
But also we can use money for, say, someone so all of us can be involved. Say anyone who puts it in dollar can say, hey, I'm a part of whatever this company name we create. So that's another thing, we gotta create a name. And then say there's any legalities issues for anyone who you stream stuff and someone's specifically targeted, we can just go ahead and hire a lawyer to represent anyone within a company if there's any legal troubles. So
how much are the backs?
Yeah, and some might even work for us pro bono, or whatever you call it, right? So they feel like we're doing a good thing. We're definitely striving to be a real public organized media company, which there really isn't one. And plus we can also get funds from the government if we're a nonprofit media company. It won't be a lot, but little. And there's also ways of organizing, because there's a lot of places, I forgot what you call it, but you could rent equipment, go into a studio, and it's all free. It's just kind of these localized areas. You could also rent equipment. I mean, they don't have like live streaming cameras, but you can at least rent it, upload it, encode it to like an MP4 file, and then upload it to YouTube that way. So there's a lot of options.
Can I just say something a little bit more general, Ebon? And it's without. So I saw a Jimmy Dore segment today, and apparently in Iowa Public Radio, Bernie addressed the DNC fraud lawsuit very mildly, because the woman who called in was very nice. $700 supporter in Iowa, was one of the first places. He almost won. Then he went on to win New Hampshire in the primary very well. But she really wanted to know. She was a member of the DNC fraud lawsuit. She wanted to know why he didn't come out and speak about this. So he really gave a very non-answer answer, but I heard his answer in the answer, and sort of because I like him a lot, and sort of because I'm a lawyer. I know where he's coming from, but the thing was, I wish, and the guy in the Iowa Public Radio actually didn't even get away with it. The most he went to say about it was that we all knew the DNC was basically rigging what they were doing. Like, we knew that. So you want him to tell you not to donate to him and not to do anything, but Bernie's never going to tell you where to put your money or where to put your vote, because it's not the kind of guy he is, and I totally get that, 100%. But you also want to hear him say the DNC is a fucking corporation. It's a corporation. It's this shit that you have to go around to make your money and do your business and get your stuff. And when you insert that into the democratic process, it's a horrible thing. And you really, really want to hear him say that. But Bernie didn't. But the thing that he did go campaign for Hillary, but he never told any of his supporters to vote for her. If you read between the lines, he never did that. You could watch him go out there and campaign, and that could annoy people. But he would never tell you how to vote your conscience. And that's, you know, and so he did. And I wish that there was a Jimmy Dore to say, hey, so do you think that, you see, he's never going to tell somebody to donate to the DNC or to donate to anyone. But, I mean, if you're going to ask him, like, would you equate the DNC with just like a normal corporation, kind of? That'd be an interesting question.
Yeah.
Well, Sanders won't
like,
tell
you
us.
have to abide by your charter.
Go ahead,
like,
Garden.
Sanders won't tell us where to put our money or anything directly, but he'll just say that Trump is such a nightmare that, you know, there really is no other option.
No, and he'll say he won't state forward, and he'll work on the policies. I like that about him.
He won't state that directly either, you know. So
he's got bigger problems.
Well,
he's got bigger problems. Everybody's screaming about Trump and how awful he is. That's what they do.
it's fear-mongering. Trump doesn't pose a threat to us.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and the one thing that I'm kind of dismayed is when Bernie Sanders was running in the primary, he would go to town halls and answer people's questions. But when we had the People's Summit, he wasn't out talking to normal people or people who came to the conference. He or the summit. He only talked to and had an interview with Nina Turner, and Nina Turner got to ask the questions. And so you didn't really see him mingling with just the people, because he's about talking and supporting people, right? Just people like you, me, everyone. And it's gotten to, he's kind of in that elitist circle now, trying to make a difference, but he's not really on the ground trying to make a difference by talking to people.
That's a fair, that's probably a fair observation, Ebon. But also, I mean, the fact that they haven't even given him regular media coverage. We need him and Nina Turner on CNN. I mean, even Nina Turner in one of the interviews I saw from the some sort of progressive convention interview, maybe not with Stevie, but during that same conference, is the fact we need these people on CNN. And Nina Turner was like, "Well, don't just CNN, Jordan, Sheridan."
No, we don't need them on CNN. We need them on channels like us, where ordinary people can ask them questions. Because if say there's a town hall on CNN, what you do is you submit your questions to CNN, and they choose which ones that they want you to ask. So if they don't like it, you're not going to get asked to say it. So
I think we do need them on CNN.
Well, okay, that's if that's your point. But see, the thing is, ordinary people can't ask questions like, "Hey, do you think the DNC fraud lawsuit was a legitimate case," or something like that. You're not going to see those questions get asked on CNN, MSNBC, Fox News.
If you don't have them, then all you have is the Peter Dows and the Neera Tandons and the Kayleigh McEnany.
That's fine.
And the but then nobody even will ask even a question about it. They'll be more interested in the
corporate media or anything else. They filter out questions. Even NPR, if you go and try to ask questions for guests on NPR, they ask, "Hey, what question are you going to ask?" And they whether they accept it or not, or the guest, you don't get to ask it. And that's the difference between like what we had with the town hall. We don't filter questions.
If you think that Bernie is somehow
hold on, David.
You for
Dave
giving
wants
an interview
Amy.
to the New York
Amy,
Times.
please stop. Dave, go ahead,
Right,
and then you can
done.
go, Amy.
Here's
No, I'm done.
Here, I'm sorry, Amy. Here's my point too. The more that the politicians get used to these questions being filtered, the more difficult it will be for independent media to get a foothold, because, Dr. Shiva or anyone else will go to Ebon and say, "Okay, what are your questions? And I don't like that one, and I don't like this one, and I don't like this one, and I'm not coming on unless you ask this, this, and this." So, the more we are allowed, open access and open town halls, to me, the better it is. I agree that corporate media isn't a great thing right now. It's here. It's a reality, but I don't care for it. And the only way that you can really take it out of, take their power down a little bit is by stopping watching it. Even if you criticize them, you're still watching it.
All right, go ahead, Amy. Sorry
about that. She there, or did she?
Oh no, I was just I typed in the thing, and it's fine, and I don't really care about burning. But what I do think is that if he thinks that it's a better, the guy does more than the rest of Congress took time off. The guy is writing Medicare for All bill. I mean, he's fighting. He's fighting that. He's doing everything, and he always has during their recesses and everything. And if he snubs you because you think he's too corporate for the New York Times, it's better that his opinion is in the New York Times because it does reach more people. It's just a strategy. It's not a. It's not a snub. It's not, he's not going anywhere. The guy has had the same integrity since the 1970s. His votes represent that he hasn't gone anywhere. He hasn't bailed out the banks. He hasn't voted for war. He hasn't done any of that stuff. He's taken strategic positions that people dislike, and that's what he feels like he has to do. And I'm not, and I'm never gonna. I'm not somebody who's going to judge him for that. Never. And
I disagree with the military point, but I do agree that he's way more progressive than most. The military, I disagree with the military. I don't agree with a lot of his military stuff, but yeah, he's touted a lot of progressive policies, and I have to give credit for that.
As far as his positions go, I mean, the positions are one thing, but are we going to be able to count on him to follow through regardless of what his positions are? No. Or is he vulnerable to pressures? And again, we speculate about what those pressures are. It's pointless. But he does cave to pressures. We've seen it. That was a critical moment, like James was saying the other night. That was his MLK moment. And, he dropped it.
I agree. I still think he's an important piece, but I don't think he's the piece. I don't. I think he will be the impetus to mentor the people who will be that piece, but I don't think he is that piece.
Yeah, I mean, Bernie's obviously an influential figure, and he's influenced many people, myself included. But we just have to drop our attachments to specific people in this process and keep our eye on the prize. And what Bernie's done, at least in my opinion, between the election and between the lawsuit, it's simply unacceptable. Can't support him. I mean, unless, again, I'm kind of torn on it, because if Bernie made it to the general election somehow,
we have to.
I would be torn.
We have to.
I would have to rethink it. I can't say either way.
Oh, I would have to vote for him. I would have to vote. I'm sorry. I would have to vote for him.
Yeah.
Up until that happens, until he's actually in the general election, he's not getting any of my support, and definitely none of my money or labor.
Who are you? Well, I don't even want to argue that point anymore. I don't even want to argue that point anymore. The things that made me the most pissed off today actually was if we can all agree on this. If Hillary couldn't sink any lower, where would she go? So David Dole, the Rational National Canadian guy. Okay, I can face the truth. Okay, Zox, that's fine. Anyway, he did this a video about, and I hadn't seen this article, and I never would have, so far. But apparently Hillary has gone lower than we ever thought she could possibly go if there was a limit. I thought there might have been a limit for Democrats, even a neoliberal one in my view, but apparently there was none. So she is using the death of that woman in Charlottesville to promote her new book. And the woman who died, Heather Heyer, who died in Charlottesville, apparently was a primary Bernie voter out there protesting against neo-Nazis and did not vote in the general election.
1 second, guys. We have a new face in chat.
Hi, Too Analytical. Oh. Hi, Too Analytical. How are you?
Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm good.
How you doing?
And gals.
He's been here before.
So, would you like to introduce yourself? Tell us where you're from, if you want.
I'm from Canada. I've lived in the U.S. for a couple of years. I'm a big-time fan of politics. Used to be involved in it not too long ago. Kind of got out of it. Taking a second to look back into it, but from a different perspective. And for somebody who used to be, I'd say, if I had to sit on the political spectrum, which I don't really identify anywhere on it, I'd say more left, far-leaning left, and I'm a little bit more probably centrist now. But for the most part, I'm more intellectual, common sense. What is the most conducive things that we can do for humanity, like in general, like politics aside, and just in general common sense and knowledge.
Now, I'm curious, I have a question about that. Do you consider yourself a centrist as far as Canadian politics or a centrist as far as United States politics? I'm just curious.
Yeah, no, I totally understand why, because yeah, they're very different depending on the political spectrum. Yeah, in the U.S., when you look at the Constitution of the U.S. compared to Canada, where, well, this is the thing that I always love arguing with people, is it's like, okay, the Constitution is what founded the U.S. Canada, we only got the fucking Charter of Rights, which guaranteed freedoms about 40 some years ago. I think a little bit less than that. So it's like Canada was not necessarily founded on free speech. But where I fall, you know, to be honest with you, I wouldn't even know, man. Like if you go by classical definitions of them, I'd say probably for Canada, I'd say, you know what, for the most part, I'd probably swing more centrist with the U.S.
Really?
That, okay. Yeah, and you know why? It's just, and then depending on who you talk to within Canada, like if you talk to military people, for instance, I would say they probably fall more centrist by U.S. standards, but they'd be considered more conservative in Canada.
How do you think? What do you think about Tulsi Gabbard? Because I think she's pretty progressive, but she can be kind of centrist.
Well, just to clarify, so you would consider yourself right of most Canadians? Is that what you mean by that?
Right. Yeah, you know what, to be honest with you, I'd say I identify more with what the Conservative Party is saying, just by far of kind of what their rhetoric is. And that's like, don't get me wrong, I dig deeper beyond their rhetoric, but as far as what the general population sees, I'd say what the Conservatives are saying is a hell of a lot more common sense than what the Liberals are saying. And in the U.S., it's funny, because I came out of the whole thing with going, you know, I could see Trump getting elected, but I still didn't believe it when he won the nomination. And then following the last year or so, yeah, I can totally understand how people see things on the right different from the left and how the left see the right. And it's just fascinating when you really dig deep and you look at all the different media, what they're saying, the different messages, try to figure out the linguistics of it, how that affects people, and then understanding kind of the general social mentality. It's kind of interesting to try to figure out how much sway different messages have depending on who is saying it and how much exposure it gets.
Also, dude, your mic is breaking up a little bit. I don't know if you can correct it. We can understand you, but it's kind of choppy.
Oh, okay. Maybe
I don't know if you can correct it.
Yeah. Check that out. Thanks.
Yeah, I called into Jamal's show once, and like my volume was like super way off, and no one told me. So like you couldn't understand what I was saying. So I appreciate it when people tell me if my volume's off.
Well, you say I have enough volume here, but if I use the same setup to like call into Tim, it's very low.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like, I didn't change anything on the settings. I don't know why it came across like that.
Well, it's a good thing no one could hear you, Garden.
All I do is spread propaganda, dude.
Yeah, I know.
People up for money.
I mean, you're just pretty much saying exact same talking points as Ben Mankiewicz.
Well, that's what I'm paid to do. You know?
I'm just kidding.
Why are you faulting me for doing my job?
I'm sorry. I disappointed Jenks.
All about Jenks.
But it's, you know, I had an idea that, like, okay, Amy and Jeremy are kind of on the same platform, I think, right? So maybe sometime we should have a thing where, like, two people who are, you know, have a differing opinion have a discussion with those two specifically, or other people. You know what I'm saying? And have like a setup, like you did, like we did with that sci-fi show, and like you did with Ariel and all that. Have like a separate event for it.
Oh yeah, yeah, we could do things like that.
Because Amy, you make, like, you know, I mean, your arguments aren't stupid. I disagree with them. I disagree with Jeremy's arguments, but
well,
like, I can understand what you're saying.
I'm a lawyer. A lot of people disagree with my points of view. It's called the defense team or the prosecution. It doesn't matter. That's what happened.
Well, you argue your points well, and like, if we can get a couple other people that can argue points well, and like put them in a room, and, you know, try not to rip each other's eyes out while doing it. So I don't know, like, if someone's up for that, I don't know, like, if I'd be up for it. I kind of have a temper.
I mean, we can have things like a debate, like a debate rotation.
Oh, I didn't watch.
So,
did anybody watch those TYT debates? I never watched them. I'm not sure
Jesus.
if we talked about them.
So basically, an idea is, all right. So we've got like a specific category or a specific question, and basically we line up who wants to debate each other for just for a few minutes on that topic or on that question. So you've got a viewpoint. This other person's got a viewpoint. And they go at it, and then we go on to the next one. So it's just kind of a quick succession of talking points, and two people out there that want to talk to each other of, like, say someone supports this, someone doesn't support it, and so you get a list of people who support it and who don't, and then we give them airtime, 5 minutes each to kind of debate each other on it.
Yeah, that's cool. We could do it in the context of the show. That's what you're saying, right? Of this show.
We could, or it's just a separate show with, instead.
Okay, or yeah, we could do it either. It'd probably be easier to do it as a separate show.
Yeah, that way. I mean, we could do it just like a 30-minute segment. So there's like maybe 3 questions. So whatever format. I mean, it's just we do whatever we want to do, right? We're not held back by any corporate master, except you and Jenks.
Well, yeah, but the more you talk about it like that, dude, the more they're going to catch on to us. So
not yet, Ebon. Not yet.
Talk about Justice Democrats and not TYT. Okay. Don't talk about both heads of the Hydra. Only talk about one.
Of course.
Okay. So are we ready for anything goes?
Yeah, whatever.
I'm all for it.
Eric's still frozen. Was he in charge?
No. All right. So
anytime goes.
So we're gonna host on Dave's channel. So Dave, do you on your YouTube live stream page, make sure you have the topic and you have the Ring Central meeting description in your description box.
Okay.
You can pretty much copy paste my Anything Goes show from last night and just remove the Ring Central stuff and replace it with the Ring Central stuff that's currently in this live stream description box.
All right. This might take a minute from the technically challenged. Hold on one second.
Well, I'm technically challenged too. Do I get moved over, or do I have to call again, or should I?
No, you can
not
stay in
do
Ring
either?
Central. It's just the YouTube.
Oh, okay.
People on the YouTube live chat will be needing to switch over.
Night, Aylis.
Okay.
Yep. Good
Okay,
night.
so,
Good night, Aylis.
So, Ebon, I wanted to say something about last night. Should I say that now, or should I say it in Anything Goes?
Yeah, you can say it now.
Okay, because I missed the town hall because I fell asleep. I was going to come on and that, but I watched it tonight before
I'm
started.
sorry, Forsaken.
And you're sorry about what?
That you listened to it, because I listened to it too. I came on and listened to it. It hurt me a little bit.
Oh, well, I thought the questions were good. It's just
the questions are great.
You pretty much evaded every question and sort of...
Some of them I thought were unnecessary, and then you realize they were necessary when they were asked.
He kind of just sort of changed the subject and everything, so made it sort of drift over, never really answered a single question, which kind of tells me where he stands on pretty much every issue, because he never gave a direct answer on any of them.
Yeah.
I don't think it's always about like having an answer for stuff. That's my perspective. Sort of like the universal basic income. I sort of believe in it, not necessarily from an economic perspective, but having worked and just patterns and what's happening to labor, and especially after the most recent Labor Day, with no unions, no set hours, no one job, and yet they're counting you as employed. It's gotten out of control. You cannot work 40 hours anymore, and it almost seems necessary. So I can't speak to the economics of it. I can't, and I would be in the position not to do that. But I would at least consider it and say, hey, these are what the problems with our current system are. But nobody who runs from office does this, and it's infuriating.
But it wasn't any one question, and since he's a politician running for office, he should have had answers to at least the majority of questions. Even if there was an issue, he could say, "I don't know enough about it" or something. That's one thing, but at every question, he went off the topic. He went in another direction.
Another thing he tried. Another thing he did was, like, when he didn't understand a question, he would use that as a default chance to attack the opposing party. Like he did that with Snork's question, for example. He didn't understand Snork's question, and instead he started going off about how Elizabeth Warren is some ivory tower academic and all this other stuff, and it was...
I felt like I said, I only saw just a bit of it, but I think he used the word unleashed about 4 times. And I've noticed that people that use the word unleashed usually mean cut you off and then, let you go. That's what unleashed means. You're free to be poor, is what unleashed means to me.
It's only 2 syllables, but it's really good for a Republican.
Yeah, and when he talked about the healthcare, he did actually say at one point, "Well, I can't support single payer that pays for this." When he's talking about prices are too high and everything. But those are things that need to be tackled together. You need single payer Medicare for all, but at the same time, you need to work on lowering prices, because you can lower prices and there's still people that can't afford to go to the doctor. They can't afford medications. So, you need coverage and that, but, his one thing was, I can't, support single payer while, this is going on, and everything. And the whole thing about do away with the college. He seems to have a thing against colleges, even though he's went to it. You know,
that was
like,
his most bizarre view.
And
His views on
he's
education.
touted his sister having a Harvard degree too. His sister also has a Harvard degree.
yeah, it's like
And
it's okay for him, but otherwise, let's just, you know, no more student loans, no anything. You know, you work to afford it. So basically, if you can't afford, you know, to put $100,000 or $100,000 into your tuition or more, you can't go to college. So it's basically keep people uneducated. Just give them some, you know, hands-on training in a trade.
We'll unleash them.
Yeah, yeah, we'll unleash them.
So he wants a caste system.
Yeah, you know, like that interview made me go back and look at some things that I had learned before about the caste system in India. And like again, I was listening to some of Arundhati Roy's criticisms of Gandhi, right? And the way that she paints the history of Gandhi is Gandhi was propped up by basically British and Indian industrialists to motivate the peasantry in a certain way. And, you know, you can go into all the details of all of that. It's very interesting, but, you know, it's worth looking into because there's parallels with what's going on today.
But it sounds like he wants to introduce the caste system here. You know, so you basically have the people who are wealthy can be highly educated, but everybody else can, you know, just, you know, go into a lower you know, well, not necessarily lower, but you know, an unskilled, you know, basic trade, something that doesn't require an education. Or if you just want an education, you can't get one beyond a simple training. So it's like he wants there to be a caste system, except he wants to be on top of it now, where he was on the bottom of it when he was in India.
Right, that's what it sounds like to me. Yeah.
You know what's really funny is some of the most racist people I've ever met in New York City are always immigrants. They're immigrants with papers. They're immigrants with money, and they've done stuff. And it's just infuriating.
I know what you mean.
It's almost like
I see you too.
my parents not understanding their generation and how my generation was different. It's the same thing. And that's, you know, and that's how they think stuff is. And it's not frozen in time, except for Eric, because he's totally frozen in time on my computer screen. Graham, fix it.
Well, the other thing is we have to bear in mind that a lot of this doesn't come out of what we would consider spite or racism or anything like that. You're just taught to look at the world in a certain way. And in some ways, like, especially when you're coming from like a culture as different from India to the United States, you're just going to like, you're not going to be able to break free of certain worldviews. To some degree, some people, I'm not saying Dr. Shiva is guilty of this, okay? But some people will always see things in terms of caste in one way or another because they spent the first 40 years of their life in India. You know, how do we handle people like that? Do we condemn them as racists, you know, or xenophobes? I'm not really sure that's the right way to go about it.
I mean, right, but that's what it ends up being. But it's like this. They pretend that they're not. You know, they don't think when that ends up happening, they're not xenophobic at all, because they're the minority, right? It's just this economic thing, and it becomes an economic thing, and the Democratic Party has used this. Economics and then race and gender and all of these things, and every time they don't have an argument about a specific thing, you can't go deeper than the gender or the race or the ethnicity, and then you have, you know, elitist immigrants coming here thinking their parents succeeded. That's the same as my parents having been born here and think that like my life is the same as their life, that I should be able to pay for my college the way my mom paid for her college, and that's outrageous.
Well,
nobody's looking at how everything else has changed, how the jobs have vanished, and how wages have stagnated and everything else. When they're saying that, they're not looking at that at all. You know, and they can't bring up economics because, I mean, with their politicians,
they don't want to.
Economics.
It's not that they can't. They just don't want. That's the unavoidable. That's the thing that they want to avoid.
Yeah, because it shines the light on them. You know, because then it focuses in on them, and it focuses in on, you know.
And the ones who succeed are never the ones complaining. They're the people hurting. And it's just, they end up being racist. Like, well, I'm succeeding here, so I've adapted into your society well enough, so you need to accept me and keep me. I see Brand's hand up. Sorry.
I just have this. I know exactly what you're talking about. The mentality of certain immigrants that already are very well off, and they come here and they have this what appears to be a very racist attitude. What it stems from is a mentality that we see also exhibited amongst elites, no matter where they're from. And it's the mindset of, I've got mine, fuck you, and fuck everybody else.
Yep.
And they've adapted to our society, and they're like, well, you're the American dream.
Right.
Yeah, this is what I was supposed to achieve. I did it, and if I can do it, everybody else can do it.
Right.
And that's how it works.
Right, and that's their mentality, because they're not looking at how different it was for them and how much easier it was for them than everybody else that they see beneath them. That they just
how lucky they were, or whatever it was.
Basically lazy so-and-sos, because that's the way they view them. Because in their mindset, if you didn't get to the same position that they're at, then you were just lazy. That's their mindset.
You fucked up, Bram. You fucked up.
Well, the other thing to bear in mind is that media plays a role in this, because
it does.
Media, both domestically and internationally, paints Americans as kind of lazy and worthless. It does. Like, Americans are always being told that, like, we're uneducated, that we don't know what we're talking about. We're a bunch of, like, crazy Trump supporters or whatever. I mean, that's how, like, a good part of the international community views us. So when people get here and then they see a bunch of broke people everywhere, they're like, it's true. These people are lazy. So there's some of that taints, people's perceptions of Americans.
No, actually, right now they're probably like, dude, I can get prices in New York City that are a whole bunch cheaper. I can still see Times Square with all the hawkers and costumists and hookers.
China is like, how much of the West Coast is China owned? It's some insane, and it's all the blue chip properties, So they're drastically affecting the real estate market on the West Coast. But yeah, if we want to tie it back into like media, TYT is a good example of what you're talking about. Like, TYT is Turkish immigrants. And, Cenk's family came over here with some cash, and it sounds like his dad was maybe a slumlord of some sort. And, like, had a bunch of low-rent properties and, like, built them up and, made sure that Cenk went to, I forget, what was it, George Washington University he went to or something?
I had a friend who went there. That's, the thing I don't like about TYT is I don't think, and it's not any one person in particular, it's their
hypocritical oath?
Sorry. Well, is that the right word?
Hypocritical oath, yes. Hypocrisy.
Right. Well, no, but how do you? Never mind. That's not the point. Like in total, though, it's not any one particular person. It's just like they can be like, yeah, I'm so progressive on this issue, but now I'm going to take this from an elitist point of view on another issue, and I'm like, you've covered it merges your housing segment and your rant on this the merges in some way, and you don't get it, and that's your problem. That's what I don't like about TYT.
Well, they're not
and
about
they don't get
ideology. Well, they don't care to get it. They're not about ideology. They're about like moving the ball forward as far as their business.
Right.
I know, and probably what's worse is that they don't know that they don't get it, so they keep doing it.
I'm sure they like to think of them. Some of them, at least, like to think of themselves as, an ideologically based organization. I'm sure some of them think that, but like that's not the case, and their actions bear that out. But they're a good example of, consolidated like immigrant interests coming into the U.S. and kind of working together to, like Americans don't have these types of organizations, like the Turkish American organization or whatever. I mean, that will just has the money to just give out grants to people, like big grants and whatever.
Turkey's, I don't know about Turkey. I mean, Turkey right now is probably under, I play Bridge, the card game, and I actually saw one of the most racist comments while, playing Bridge today from someone to someone else about how Islam kills brain cells. And I reported it because I thought it was inappropriate for a card game. But Turkey has some serious problems right now. I mean, this is a U.S. site, but I think they do with Erdogan. I think they have some serious problems.
Turkey is like, for traditionally it's been like the U.S. man to go to in that region. We dumped arms on Turkey. We gave them a lot of support. Right. And then at some point we decided that Turkey, like it was that we needed to change things in Turkey for some reason. There's lots of reasons for it potentially. So I think we tried to like start up some crap rebellion and we started stirring up trouble in Turkey. Again, like the Kurds are there. I mean, they've been puppets of these superpower conflicts for decades now. I feel so sorry for those people. Turkey's in bad shape.
All right.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, I think the point was, like, it's people come here, and I just agree with Brett. Sometimes it's And,
Amy,
and this is exactly where you get this like white supremacy idea from, because even someone like me can go into a bar in Manhattan and say, hey, I'm talking to this guy who's not from here, telling me how rich he is and how I can't afford, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I can barely afford my apartment. And, and then he's just like, yeah, I don't care about all those people. If they don't have papers, like, fuck them.
Amy, hold on 1 second. It's just an old man trying to figure out a computer thing.
No, not only. It's an old. Well, if you call 40 old, I'm 38. But if you,
I'm 49.
What's you calling old, by the way?
Print screen.
You're going to be ageist too on this site.
So, I'm trying to figure this out so we can start anything goes. Hold on.
Yeah, we're gonna have another stream going.
Yeah, maybe one of these.
So independent outsider has to think a little bit about this because he's going to be trying to switch everything over.
But in New York City, I think a lot of people in New York City. I mean, there's a few perspectives I feel here. One is actually people who have come here during very earlier periods of time where
Amy,
stuff was different.
Amy, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Let independent outsider talk until he gets his technical thing fixed. And I think is what we're trying to do.
Yeah, just a little bit of a technical issue going on with independent outsider and
no worries.
Ebon is trying to get me just to show him a screenshot of what I did so I can copy and paste it. So I hit the print screen key on here, What exactly do I do?
Okay, you open a bitmap. Do you know how to do that?
No, I don't.
Okay, you can just I think you can just right click on the screen.
Okay. On the desktop.
No.
Right click on your desktop, go to new, and go to bitmap image. Do you see that?
Oh, hold on. Right click on my image.
On your
desktop.
It just says save picture as.
Right.
No. What you want to do is you want to get to your desktop.
Oh, my desktop.
Yeah. So on your desktop, you would right click and go to File New.
All right, hold on.
No problem.
I'm. Oh.
Are you just trying to take a screenshot, dude? Is that what's up here?
That's all I'm trying to do.
Yeah. He's almost there.
Okay, I'll stop interrupting. There's another way you can do it that's easier, though.
Tell me, please.
Do you have a sniping tool? Like, to go to your accessories, like on your what version of Windows do you have?
10.
Okay, you should have a sniping tool. Go to your accessories, and like you should see it on there somewhere. Tell me when you find that.
What would it look? What would it look like?
It looked like Lasso.
Let me see if I can find it on mine. See where it would be. I haven't used it in forever. Well, you can just type in sniping tool in the you see the spyglass thing.
Yeah.
Cortana.
Yeah.
Just type in sniping tool into that.
Okay.
It should come up.
So now what do I do?
So do you have the sniping tool open?
I do. Yes, I do.
Okay, now you can go to whatever screen you want.
Okay.
Okay, and you'll see the sniping tool, and then hit new in the corner of the sniping tool.
Okay.
And then it'll allow you to just kind of drag and select a box, and that will be your screenshot.
Okay. Hold on.
Try that.
So. All right. Why is this not doing it?
Okay, try to. So you're at do you have the sniping tool thing is open?
Yes, I do. It's open.
And in the top left corner, there's I think it says new. Do you see that?
Right. Yes, I do.
Okay, click on that.
Okay.
And then it'll there's a list of options there, and one of them is obviously new snipe or whatever. You see that one?
Yes, I see. All right, hold on.
Do you get it though? Did the little box come up?
It's just trying to hit the thing in there. It's trying.
Yeah, manually it can be a little bit tricky, but then when you get it, you got it.
Okay.
And then you just select, and then what you're going to want to do once you select it, it'll pop up in the sniping tool. So tell me when it pops up in the sniping tool itself.
Okay.
Has it?
Well, I'm still. Oh, all right. Hold on 1 second.
That's okay. Give it a couple of tries. But tell me when it pops up in the sniping tool itself.
Well, I see part of the screen in there. It doesn't, and it's like half of somebody's thing. So I'm gonna have to do this again. Hold on. So.
But you got it though, basically, because something did show up in the sniping tool.
Something did show up.
So what you want to do once you get the image in there properly, is you're going to want to save it.
Right.
So you go up there and there's a save option in there, and just save it to your desktop and name it whatever.
Okay. All right. It's gonna take a minute.
Yeah, keep working on it, dude. But you get the basics of it.
I get the idea. I get the idea. All right.
All right. While we're waiting, just mentioned on live chat. So if you don't know, Snork is getting ready. He will host Sunday nights. Snork, if you want to mention it, science-related discussions at 10:30 p.m.
Yes, I won't be ready this week though.
Yeah. So that'll be pretty cool. And then also tomorrow night, movie night, is gonna be Wonder Woman. So
sounds good.
I saw it. Even though it's like 6 hours because of buffering. But
I won't be able to make it. I'm going to go see the new It with my nephew and his wife. Sorry.
That sounds like a good movie.
It looks like it's going to be really good. I love creepy clowns.
I've been wanting to see that one.
What time are you starting it? What time are you starting the movie?
Oh, what time do I normally start it?
I want to say about 4:30 mine and broken time.
like 8 or 9 Eastern, I think usually.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try to start it early-ish so people could finish up before we start the Anything Goes.
All right, I kind of got.
All right, thanks.
I don't. The timing's off, but.
By the way, it's called a snipping tool.
Yeah, I know. I wasn't. If I didn't know how the hell it worked, I wasn't going to correct you on that.
All right, so Dave.
Gotta kill someone or something. I don't know.
Dave, in your title, it's just 9/08/2017. Just add Anything Goes before that.
Okay. So put it before that?
Yeah, Anything Goes with Dave.
Okay.
And then let me know when you're done with that part.
Sure, no problem. Can I put NDO? I mean.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
And then the first part of your description, that first paragraph, you could probably delete that. Just put whatever you want there.
Okay.
And then the Ring Central part to join.
Yes.
Delete that part and put in the one that's in my current live stream.
Okay.
So my current live stream, the Ring Central ID will end with 8367.
We're almost there, guys. Trying something new, so bear with us.
No.
All I can think of is this is all the excitement of a call from the United States to somewhere in India.
You have reached technical support.
Oh, crap.
All the thrills, all the spills.
Okay, so.
I think this is the time we should.
Central stuff.
I think this is the time that we bring up Eric's favorite show, South Park, and when they had the time loop thing with the different phone calls into India and technical support.
Grounded Vindaloop.
Right.
There we go.
Season 18, episode 7.
That was a really good one.
Oh, I loved it.
I just gotta say, you know, when Satan Satan threw his fight against Jesus and won all that money, you had to stop the series there. You can't get better than that.
All right, are you ready?
No,
Dave?
I have to do the I have to cut and paste the live stream.
There.
What are you trying to do here? I've been kind of working, so I haven't been paying attention.
No, I got it. I just have to copy and paste the live stream, the live stream info. That's all.
The
we're going to be switching
info.
to.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, we're going to be switching over to Dave's channel in just a moment.
Now, when it says schedule next, oh, I shouldn't even do that. All right, hold on.
You don't have to worry about the scheduling next. You don't have to worry. Don't worry about that. Just worry about the title and the description.
I got it. It's in.
We're reset?
Yeah, it's in.
Okay, everyone in live chat, I'll be shutting down the stream. I'll restart and showing you where to go for Independent Outsiders channel. and Anything Goes will be hosted there. So everyone in Ring Central, just hold fast, and I'm going to start switching the streams.
Got it.